these classes, we're going to apply some CSS properties again, and I will show you one setup in Atom Editor. Sometimes you need to edit HTML and CSS at the same time, so it's easier to have display of two columns in Atom Editor. So now I'm closing Preview, and what I do, I click on View, Panes, Split Right, and thanks to it, I have the two columns, two windows close to each other. So in one, I want to have styles.css, and on the second, index.html. So now I can preview HTML code and CSS at the same time. So what if I would like to apply the background for my website? So what if I would like to have my background in a certain color? We can easily do it by applying body selector. So we usually try to write styles from the top of the bottom of the website. So if the body is somehow the mother of all of the HTML tags, we try to write it on the very top. So it's easier for us later on to scan styles and to scan HTML. So it makes sense for us that this is the whole structure. However, what I would like to highlight is that the order of the specific selectors, it doesn't matter. The only thing that you need to remember is that if we have the same selectors but written in different places and they have the same property, for instance color, here I have blue and on the top I have salmon, the one that is going to be picked is the one that is actually written at the very last position. So H1 would be in blue instead of salmon because this line would be overwritten. Alright, so I'm deleting this one, saving, and we have the body selector. And I would like to apply the background color. So this is the property that is responsible for changing the color of the website. And we can come up with some color, for instance, light blue. Okay, I'm saving it, getting back to my website, refreshing, and suddenly my website is in blue. You might ask how I picked the colors because you're a designer and would like to apply some more sophisticated colors here. You can paste here hexadecimal code, hex code, and if you don't know the value now, you can use the color palette in DevTools. This is another very useful feature which I use in these tools. So I can just pick up the one that I'm satisfied with and paste it back to my code. Save, refresh, and see that my changes are applied. Unfortunately, our website is not very pretty right now, but take it easy. We're heading to the portfolio part pretty soon. Another thing we can apply in CSS are margins and paddings. So we can have an influence on how the elements are separated from each other. Let's say that I would like to have a bigger space between the image and the lists I have here. So let's experiment a little bit with the DevTools. So I'm selecting image, and I would like to create a selector in here. So I'm clicking this plus on the right side, sorry, and I want to apply margin. So I'm writing margin, for instance, 50 pixels from each of the sides, so top, left, right, and bottom. And I can see, while inspecting this element, hovering over it, that there is a orange frame, and it shows me the margin that is applied. If I had to tab called Computer, you will see, and this is the so-called box model, you will see that here we've got the margin and each of the edge has 50 pixels. We can also add padding, which is the inner margin, for instance 20 pixels. So the space between image and lists is increased. And we also can add border, 1 pixel of the width of the border line. We want to have it solid and in black color. So this means black in hexadecimal code, but we can also write black. And you will see that padding is the inner space between the image itself and the border. You can also check it out in the box model, saying that this is our image, these are the paddings, we have the border, and we've got the margins as well. To keep those changes, we need to copy the whole selector, get back to Atom, and paste it into our CSS. Refreshing the page and the changes are applied. Of course, we can play a lot with CSS here, but I think it will be better to focus on our portfolio projects and to put into practice our knowledge. In the next lesson, we're starting the portfolio projects, which means that we're going to deconstruct the layout step by step.